Yeah.
Your honor.
No, I mean, it was nice when I think Jeremy texted me that morning and told me. Always an honor. I wish it was something that was more directed to the team's efforts. But, you know, I know they have to pick a person. So, or even Mackenzie, she did great that game too. So it's nice. But, you know, we'll move on. It makes me uncomfortable.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It's weird. And I just, like I said, I really feel like it was definitely a team effort. And I think a lot of people did a lot of good things that game. So it's weird for me to just get credit, I guess.
Okay, all right. With you guys, the game against Oregon, you know, they're going to be running gun. What's, you know, team concept going into that?
I think we want to make sure that we can slow them down because we know they want to run. They want to get a lot of shots up. So we want to try and slow it down as much as we can. Make sure that we, you know, on the end of our defense, make sure we get a box out to make sure they only get the one shot. And then we want to make sure we still run our game. We don't want to get caught up in their running and in their fast pace. We want to make sure that we still, you know, transition when we can, but don't push the tempo just because they are. Run our sets and do what we do offensively still.
How different will the conference be as, you know, like, you know, Paul Westhead and Michael Cooper, you know, kind of come in and bring some of their, you know, pro experience to it?
I think it changes a lot. I mean, you can see just with the Oregon team. I mean, they're a completely different team, completely different style. I think it brings a lot of different styles like that. Michael Cooper being WNBA coach, so I think it's going to change a lot. I think it's going to be good for the conference because I think it's going to mix things up and bring teams that maybe you wouldn't expect to do as well, you know, at the top, like in Oregon. So.
What about like East Coast, West Coast type of thing? Do you see? I mean, you guys went to Michigan, but still, I mean.
I mean, I think that that's still out there. You know, I mean, you see during the Stanford-UConn game, they talked a lot about that, and it's tough to not make that comparison, I guess, because there are legitimate differences in the styles and stuff. But I don't think that it means that one can't contend with the other. I mean, Stanford is, you know, second in the nation. They're a great team. It's just a different style, but I think both are equally successful.
And then you guys going into this Pac-10 Conference 500, you know, do you feel more confident than past years, I guess, going in?
Probably. I think, you know, we're still not where we want to be, but we've made significant strides, I think, in certain areas, and I think it's nice to have not a record that we would want, but one that's more indicative of those, you know, of the improvements at least in certain areas. So it's particularly coming off of a win going into Pac-10, I think that's going to be the biggest thing for us to create that momentum that we want.
Do you miss home?
No,
here?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I like it.
Yeah.
With Oregon State, after Oregon, Coach Jackson was talking about a big change in styles. Do you prefer more the run and gun or the methodical or somewhere in the middle?
I think with an Oregon team, like Coach Jay talked about how they're more predictable in that we know that they want to run at least. So maybe it's easier to wrap our minds around that. We know the style, we know what to expect. So in that sense, it might be easier in our preparation for it. Whereas with an Oregon State, I mean, maybe they could do either. So I don't think they have a preference for either. But I mean, maybe. I'm not a huge fan of the running gun game for myself, so it's tougher to guard sometimes.
In terms of the offense, so if the tempo picks up, is that something you like?
I mean, I prefer for us, I think as a team, to get into our stuff. I think sometimes if we get caught up in that running gun game, we get a little bit out of sorts. So I think for us, the team would be better to just run our stuff.
Thanks.
You're coming close to reaching the 1,000 point milestone. How do you feel about that?
I feel like I'm more concerned about us and our record than any record that I have.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That was smooth.